Hello everyone, today I'm going to explain about this paper, enhanced Coulombic efficiency and power density of air-cathode microbial fuel cells with an improved cell configuration. Introduction: microbial fuel cells generate electricity by breaking down organic matter using bacteria. Single-chamber air-cathode microbial fuel cells without proton exchange membranes have simpler designs and lower costs but face challenges like oxygen diffusion, leading to substrate wastage and lower Coulombic efficiency. Low power density is also a challenge caused by high internal resistance. This study focuses on improving Coulombic efficiency and power density using J-cloth and a new design called cloth electrode assembly. Methods. Configurations used. Without J-cloth, control setup. With 1 to 3 J-cloth layers. Single and double cloth electrode assembly to reduce electrode spacing. Setup. Cylindrical chambers with carbon cloth electrodes, which are known for their high conductivity and porosity. Substrate used: acetate as an energy source. Operation modes. Batch mode: fixed substrate is added, and the system runs until it's consumed. This mode is simple and works for short-term tests. Continuous flow mode: substrate is continuously supplied, mimicking real-world conditions like wastewater treatment. This mode gives steady, long-term power output. Key measurements: Coulombic efficiency, power density, and internal resistance. Figure 1. Standard microbial fuel cell, no J-cloth, no proton exchange membrane. This is the baseline design where oxygen diffuses from the cathode to the anode, disrupting anaerobic bacteria and wasting the substrate. As a result, the Coulombic efficiency is low, and power density is limited. Microbial fuel cell with J-cloth: in this setup, a J-cloth is added to the water-facing side of the cathode. This acts as a substitute for the proton exchange membrane, blocking oxygen diffusion and improving Coulombic efficiency. The J-cloth reduces oxygen transfer without the high cost or resistance associated with proton exchange membranes. Single cloth electrode assembly: here, the J-cloth is sandwiched between the anode and cathode, effectively reducing the spacing between electrodes. This design minimizes internal resistance, leading to higher volumetric power density compared to the standard or single J-cloth setup. Double cloth electrode assembly: this configuration uses 2 J-cloth layers. The tighter electrode spacing further reduces resistance and maximizes power density while still preventing oxygen diffusion effectively. Figure 2. This figure shows how power density varies with current density in microbial fuel cells using different layers of J-cloth. 0 layers, control without any J-cloth, the microbial fuel cell achieved the highest power density of 80 watts per cubic meter. This is because there was no additional internal resistance, but oxygen diffusion wasn't controlled. 1 layer of J-cloth: when 1 layer of J-cloth was added, the power density slightly reduced to 71 watts per cubic meter. The J-cloth started controlling oxygen diffusion effectively, but internal resistance increased slightly. 2 layers of J-cloth: with 2 layers, the power density decreased further to 68 watts per cubic meter. At this point, the trade-off between oxygen diffusion reduction and increased resistance was noticeable. 3 layers of J-cloth: finally, with 3 layers, the power density dropped significantly to 55 watts per cubic meter. This is because the internal resistance became too high, negatively affecting performance. Key takeaways: the optimal number of J-cloth layers is 1 or 2, as they balance oxygen diffusion control and manageable resistance. Adding too many layers, like 3, leads to diminishing returns because the internal resistance dominates. Figure 3. This figure compares the electrode potentials of the anode and cathode as current density increases, using the silver chloride reference electrode with a potential of 195 mV versus the normal hydrogen electrode. For the cathode, without J-cloth, the potential starts at approximately 100 mV at 0 mA per square centimeter and drops steadily to around -100 mV at 0.6 mA per square centimeter. With J-cloth, the cathode potential begins slightly lower at around 90 mV and decreases more sharply to approximately -200 mV, indicating improved oxygen control. For the anode, without J-cloth, the potential starts at -450 mV at 0 mA per square centimeter and increases to -300 mV at 0.6 mA per square centimeter. With J-cloth, the anode potential starts at around -470 mV and stabilizes near -400 mV at 0.6 mA per square centimeter. These trends show that J-cloth stabilizes both the anode and cathode, reducing oxygen interference and enhancing Coulombic efficiency. Figure 4, this graph shows the impact of J-cloth layers on Coulombic efficiency as a function of current density in microbial fuel cells with a 1.7 cm electrode spacing. 0 layers, no J-cloth. Without J-cloth, the Coulombic efficiency starts at 10% and increases gradually, reaching around 35% at 0.8 mA per square centimeter. The low Coulombic efficiency indicates significant substrate wastage due to oxygen diffusion. One layer of J-cloth, the Coulombic efficiency improves significantly, starting at around 20% and reaching approximately 60% at 0.6 mA per square centimeter, stabilizing afterward. This shows better oxygen control and more effective substrate utilization. 2 layers of J-cloth, with 2 layers, the Coulombic efficiency further increases, starting near 25% and peaking at approximately 70% at 0.6 mA per square centimeter. This configuration achieves the best balance of oxygen diffusion reduction and internal resistance. 3 layers of J-cloth, with 3 layers, the Coulombic efficiency is slightly lower than with 2 layers, peaking at approximately 65%, due to increased internal resistance that offsets the oxygen diffusion control benefits. Figure 5, this graph demonstrates how power density varies with current density in microbial fuel cells using single or double cloth electrode assemblies with different working volumes. Single cloth electrode assembly. Single cloth electrode assembly involves one J-cloth layer placed between the anode and cathode. Double cloth electrode assembly. Double cloth electrode assembly uses 2 J-cloth layers to further reduce electrode spacing. Working volumes. The working volumes, 2.5 ml, 3 ml, and 6 ml, are controlled by adjusting the liquid height in the chamber. Smaller working volumes, like 2.5 ml, reduce internal resistance, whereas larger volumes, like 6 ml, increase it. For the results, double cloth electrode assembly with 2.5 ml achieves the best performance, peaking at approximately 620 watts per cubic meter due to minimized internal resistance and optimal electrode spacing. Single cloth electrode assembly with 3 ml reaches a peak of approximately 300 watts per cubic meter, demonstrating less efficient interaction. Single cloth electrode assembly with 6 ml performs the worst, peaking at only 150 watts per cubic meter due to increased internal resistance and reduced power density. In conclusion, double cloth electrode assembly with a smaller working volume of 2.5 ml is the most effective design, showing the importance of reducing electrode spacing and minimizing internal resistance for better performance. Fig 6, this graph represents the power generation of the double cloth electrode assembly microbial fuel cell operated in a continuous flow mode, where resistances were systematically adjusted to study their impact on power density. Initially, the resistance was set to 1000 ohms, generating a low power density of approximately 200 watts per cubic meter. As resistance decreased to 500 ohms, the power density increased steadily to approximately 600 watts per cubic meter. At 50 ohms, the power density peaked at approximately 1000 watts per cubic meter, demonstrating optimal resistance for power generation. When resistance was reduced further to 20 ohms, the power density dropped sharply due to overloading and increased internal losses. Finally, resetting the resistance back to 50 ohms restored the power density to a stable value of approximately 800 watts per cubic meter, showcasing the system's resilience. In conclusion, external resistance plays a critical role in maximizing the power output of the microbial fuel cell, with 50 ohms being the optimal value for this configuration. Conclusion. Enhanced Coulombic efficiency. Applying 2 layers of J-cloth significantly improved Coulombic efficiency, achieving 71% compared to 35% in proton exchange membrane-less systems. High power density. Double cloth electrode assemblies in continuous flow operation achieved a power density of 1010 watts per cubic meter, exceeding conventional setups by over 15 times. Reduced oxygen diffusion. The J-cloth minimized oxygen diffusion, which is crucial for enhancing microbial activity and efficiency. Cloth electrode assembly configuration. The innovative cloth electrode assembly enabled reduced electrode spacing, low internal resistance, and optimized substrate utilization. Advantages. Cost-effective design. The use of J-cloth and carbon cloth makes the system scalable and low cost. High efficiency. The design enhances bacterial activity and substrate utilization. Real-world applicability. This technology is suitable for renewable energy generation and wastewater treatment. Limitations. Internal resistance. Adding excess J-cloth layers increases resistance, which reduces power output. Long-term stability. Further research is required to ensure sustained performance over time.